Duke Eclipse presents the Horror Hideout Podcast, a podcast covering everything horror, including books, comics, and movies. Presented by Dawson Duke and Kayla Bullock. Hello, welcome to Horror Hideout. This is episode 14.
So exciting.
I know. I'm excited for what's going to come out next week, too.
Yes. So, of
And
course,
then
it's...
we also decided on what we're going to do for the fourth week, right? Or is that still up in the air?
I thought you said if it was good enough, we'd do it.
Yeah, we should probably watch it first.
Yeah. So, of course, it's October, so we are dedicating the entire month to anthologies. Starting with one of my favorites, Trick or Treat.
Not starting with.
I'm sorry.
We did Tales of Halloween.
Sorry.
So this is a second one.
I'm sorry, I'm excited about Trick or Treat. So this week we're doing Trick or Treat, the movie, and then next week we will be doing Trick or Treat, the comic book graphic novel.
Both comic book series.
Okay, thank you.
Because there was the initial one, which I wanted to talk about this first. When this movie came out in 2007, it was planned with Wildstorm Productions, which is a comic book publishing company, for them to publish a comic series at the same time. I didn't see why online, but there was some kind of issue with the comic, and it was actually not published until 2009. So it came out 2 years after the movie did.
And not to get into it, but we'll talk about this next week, but the first series of comics is basically the movie in comic book form.
Not basically, it is.
Right.
It's just an adaptation of
Right.
it.
It's just the artwork's different.
And the second series that we're covering, it's all in one book for us because we have the Trick or Treat Sam's 10th Anniversary Collection graphic novel. But the second series that came out was done by Legendary Comics in 2015 and is called Trick or Treat Days of the Dead. So that's what we'll be doing next week.
Yes. So, but first we got to get through my movie that I absolutely love. So,
do we want to talk about the cold open, or do we want to wait and just talk about it at the end, or should we talk about it here?
I don't know yet.
Because this movie is kind of...
So, the movie's kind of, it all takes place in this town in Ohio.
Yeah.
And everybody goes crazy for Halloween, celebrating and costumes and parties in the streets and everything. But it's really is there 4 stories?
Yes.
Including the beginning, or is it 5 including the beginning? There's 4.
The beginning's not really its own story.
Okay. So, we start with a couple, but then at the end the movie circles back around to this couple. So it's basically Halloween night in this town, and we're following different groups of people and what's going on.
So our first, thing in the movie, our first kill, it's the couple that we just talked about.
Well, hold on. Before you get into that, there's one more thing I want to say. So, remember, as we talk through this, that we're going to kind of talk through the stories, but in the movie, we skip back and forth between...
To an extent.
Yeah. I mean, but you don't get the whole story all at once, we're going to talk, but we thought that would be easier and make more sense, so...
It's, I've seen some anthologies do this. They have a connecting through line where there's, bits and pieces of one that'll be incorporated in the other, but really you could watch any one of them on their own without seeing the other segments, and it would still be a complete story.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is we jump from, the girls to the principal to... They don't tell their stories all together in the movie.
Yeah.
We jump back and forth. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're going to tell the stories completely. And then...
I know, but I'm just saying, the way we're talking about it, the way we're talking about the stories, you could watch, you could piece together the segments and just watch each segment as its own story. That's all I'm saying. But, this isn't really a spoiler, but, the movie Weapons that came out recently, it has some of that kind of storytelling in it where it's non-linear. It'll, skip back and forth, and it reveals more of the story as you get more of the full picture as the story goes on.
Right, and we're not going to go into this, too much right now, but, there's a lot of parts where our stories kind of intermingle, but you have to kind of be eagle-eyed to catch those things. So, go ahead, you were going to talk about the first kill?
Yeah, so there's the couple, and they're kind of arguing back and forth. It seems like the woman didn't have a very good time, and it seems like it's like I'm assuming the husband. It seems like it's like his favorite holiday or something. Like he's really into it. But she's very like it's the end of Halloween night is when the movie starts, but then we jump back. But at this point, it's the end of Halloween night, and she just seems like done, like she's over it. And she blows out their jack-o'-lantern, and he tells her before she does, he tells her not to do that for it's like a tradition to not do it.
Right.
And what I think is cool about that is, did you know that's based off like actual?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
which the jack-o'-lantern thing's kind of a running theme for
yes.
the whole movie. And one of my favorite lines from the movie is her line where she says, "Babe, I'm lit, you're lit, his night's over," and then she blows out the candle.
Yeah. But they the jack-o'-lanterns were originally made from turnips.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny about all this? Remember the Bad Kitty books?
Yeah.
There's one cat that talks really fast, and then they would have what he says at the bottom because he talks so fast you can't understand what he's saying. I learned all this from that cat because he talks about it in one of the books. But basically, they used to be the original jack-o'-lanterns were turnips, and they would carve faces in them to scare away evil spirits, like keep them away.
Yeah.
And
it started like it was a foreign, not U.S. thing, right?
Yeah.
Was it England, maybe?
I don't remember. I don't think it was England. England has no culture.
Oh, well, that's true. No offense, English people.
All offense, English people. We hate the British.
Stop it. We do not. So
my sister can't stand them.
So she's
I don't know if you knew
dressed up.
that.
Which one?
The younger.
Oh. So she's dressed up as a robot, and he's dressed up as like a
I don't
space
remember what
guy.
he's dressed
Like
up as.
I don't even really know.
Yeah. But she starts taking the decorations down.
Yeah.
And she like takes her costume off out. Not she doesn't strip naked, but it's like cardboard box made to look like a robot. So she takes all that off.
Yeah.
And has him go inside and turn on the tape. And
which that is one thing we need to throw out there. There is some nudity in this movie.
Isn't it PG-13?
No, it's R.
Okay. I couldn't remember because for some reason
there's nudity there and there's nudity later on.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why I thought it was PG-13. But anyway, is Tails?
It might be.
I don't know. Anyway, so she starts taking all the decorations outside, and she sees a guy standing creepily across the street. And I don't remember who it was. It might have been in Dead Meat's kill count video for it. But he said he was on his way to Hellfest, and the mask kind of does look like the guy from Hellfest.
It does.
Which I didn't even think about until he said that. But if you haven't seen our Hellfest podcast episode, go watch that. But he goes inside. She's taking down decorations, and she sees that guy across the street, and she seems kind of freaked out by him. And then he pulls the mask up and gets in a car. He was just waiting for his friends.
But he is kind of creepy because he's in all black and he's got that plain white mask on and there's blood on the mask.
It almost reminds me of like Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say Mike Myers. Not Austin Powers. Was it in Baby Driver where they do that? They told him to get Michael Myers masks or Michael Myers masks, and he gets like Austin Powers masks. I think But anyway, so then she sees a sheet rustling, so she's like, "What the heck?" and walks over to it, and then it like jumps onto her. And before this, we had seen from like a kid's point of view, like him running at her. So anyway, the sheet like attacks her, and obviously there's someone in it. And we see, I don't think we see him yet, but we just see the lollipop, and it slits her throat. And there's some kids walking down the sidewalk when it happens, and all they see is blood splash up on the sheet, and they run away screaming.
Yeah, we don't even see her throat get slashed. It's all underneath the sheet. We just see the blood splatter.
I'm thinking of the comic. We see it in the comic.
Okay. Well, in the movie, they don't show it.
But he then... What she was pulling sheets off of were, like, fake ghosts in the yard that was, like, crosses with, like, a bag of something for the head.
Yeah.
And the, like, husband, boyfriend, whatever, hears her scream and runs out there and finds her under one of those sheets strewn up on the cross with the lollipop that was used to kill her in her mouth. And I think this is when you can see that her throat is slit.
Right, and it's actually her head because she had been pulling fake limbs out of the tree, and if you look, one of the arms is first because she's still got her wedding ring on.
But part of her's still there because one of her legs is against the post.
Well, I just know that one arm is hanging
Yeah.
in the tree.
So maybe he took an arm and a leg because I think there was also a leg hanging up.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was hers. But I know that
Yeah.
the hand was hers because it had her wedding ring on. And this all happens before the opening credits of the movie.
The opening credits have like a comic book aesthetic. Like when we see her face with a lollipop in her mouth, it fades into like a comic book panel, and then the opening credit is like in comic book panel style.
Yeah.
And I know I said the thing where the comic series was supposed to come out around the same time, which is where some of that comes from. But I wonder if it's also inspired by Creepshow.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Because I don't know. I don't know of any horror anthologies before Creepshow, and I'm sure there was. I just don't know of them, but I think that's probably the most popular one that people think of.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but probably.
Um, so I do wonder if there's some inspiration there. But the thing is, like Creepshow was inspired by like the old horror comics that people like Stephen King grew up reading.
Right.
So inspiration's all around us and stuff. And so maybe it was just something that they're doing a comic series. Well, let's incorporate some of that into the movie. But I just wonder if it was inspired by Creepshow.
Yeah.
So
what's our second story? Is that Mr. Wilkins? Yeah, because it's the kid dragging his bag through the street. Mm-hmm. So, the second story, we meet Charlie.
Yes.
And Charlie is an overweight kid who he's got on an orange shirt that says "This is my costume," so he's not dressed up, but he's going trick or treating. And he comes to this house, and the house is dark, and there's a bucket outside, and I think there's a sign that says "Take one" or something.
It does, yeah. I think it says "We're not home. Please take one."
Right. And so he goes to dump the whole bag in.
Did you say he was smashing jack-o'-lanterns?
I did not. He was walking down the street, knocking them off the fence, smashing all the jack-o'-lanterns.
I think he stomped on one, too.
Yeah. So he goes to dump the entire pumpkin of candy in his bag, and he gets caught by the guy coming home. And it's the principal for the school. And it's Principal Wilkins. I think it's Steve is his first name.
Stephen
Wilkins. And he just gives off these vibes that he's just not a good guy. And so he tells Charlie to
Not in like a pedophilic way.
No, just he's creepy.
Yeah.
And so he tells Charlie to sit with him and to eat some candy, and he basically poisoned the candy and makes Charlie sick. And so he takes
like gross sick, like he's like throwing up, and it's like a mixture of blood and chocolate.
Yeah. And so he takes him inside, and then I think we just cut to him in the backyard burying him.
He takes him inside, and then there's a knock at the door, and there's 3 trick-or-treaters outside.
Well, I didn't know if you want to go into that yet, because of who they are.
Yeah, but we can't just say it cuts to the backyard and not talk about this.
Okay.
He sees 3 trick-or-treaters outside, and they ask him if they can have his jack-o'-lantern. He says as long as they're not going to smash it. So he gives them all 3 candy, and then we see a kid, presumably a kid, come up with like a burlap mask, and he's wearing like all orange.
It's like orange footy pajamas.
Yeah. And he said, "Did you get a piece?" and lets him pick a piece too, and then goes back inside. And I think the kid, like that last one, the 4th one, like glances back at him as he's walking away.
Yeah.
So then he goes back inside, and then I think we go to the backyard.
And so he's in the backyard, he's got this hole dug, and he's what we assume is Charlie's body. He's burying him in the backyard. Mm-hmm. And his son comes up to the window, and his name's Billy. And he's like, "Dad, I'm back from trick-or-treating." And he just kind of drives his dad nuts over and over and over again.
Yeah, he's like yelling out the window down to him, and the dad's just trying to get what he's doing done.
Yeah. And so, but we also find out that there's a second person in the hole. And they are not dead yet. So then we meet Wilkins' neighbor, is it Craig? Krieg. Because Mr. Krieg's dog comes outside and starts barking, and Wilkins cuts off a finger and throws it over the fence for his dog. And Krieg does not celebrate Halloween. He's just doesn't seem like a good person. But while he's out there, the person in the other sack comes back, like wakes back up. And so he's basically murders them in the burlap sack with a shovel. And all this time, Billy keeps coming back to the window asking, "When are we going to carve the jack-o'-lantern? Don't forget you have to help me with the eyes."
Yeah.
And so he finally gets them buried, and he plants a tree there, and so then he goes in the house to help
And
Billy.
while he's going inside, he sees Mr. Krieg in his window, like yelling for him.
Right, but they
And
don't have a
so,
good relationship,
yeah.
so
So he just says, screw you, and go inside. I can understand him because, like, the first time you watch it, you just think, oh, he's being a jerk again.
right.
Um,
But Mr. Krieg had said "screw you" when
yes,
Wilkins said
I
"Happy
know.
Halloween."
I know, but I'm saying I don't think he knew that because we find later that Mr. Krieg was in danger. I don't think he knew he was in danger. I think he just thought Krieg was yelling at him again.
Yeah, I think so too.
So anyway, he goes back inside.
So he goes back inside, and he's kind of mumbling to himself as he goes back in. And I
Yeah,
don't know if you heard him say something about, he's talking about Billy, and he says
yeah,
that he whines about missing his
hmm
mom,
yeah.
which I think in my mind means he did something to his mom.
Maybe.
Um, but so he goes back inside, and he's gonna help Billy with his jack-o'-lantern, and so they go down into the basement.
And we see him pick up a knife when he's upstairs before they go down, and he's holding it behind his back.
Right. And so and Billy's just this cute little kid. I mean, probably, what would you say, maybe 6 or
I
7
was gonna
years
say
old.
6.
um and so they get down in the basement, and we see Wilkins with his hand on Billy's shoulder, and then we
On
see
his
him
head.
on his head, and then we see that he stabs the knife down, and so it kind of looks like he's killing
And it comes
Billy.
back up and it has blood on it.
Yeah. um but what they have is Charlie's head on a
Yeah.
platter, and he's Billy says, "Daddy, let's do a scary face this time, but don't forget to help me with the eyes."
Yeah. So I'm assuming we want to take a break and talk about this story before we get to the next one, right?
Yes.
I don't like the fact he talks so much about how annoyed he is by the sun for no reason. Because it doesn't feel like a ooh good twist that he stabs the head at the end. It just feels like it just felt unnecessary. Like it doesn't feel like it adds anything other than like throwing the audience off.
Yeah, but yeah, I can see that.
And I could see the argument that it's just supposed to make him seem more unhinged, but we already watched him kill someone, like sit there and talk to a student while he was poisoning him.
Right. Oh, but as a parent, and I'm not saying I would ever, but as a parent, when you're doing something and your kid just won't like listen and go do what you tell them to do, you get kind of grumpy.
Yeah, but I've never heard you mutter under your breath like that about me. I hope you
No,
wouldn't.
no, 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 no. I don't mean that, but I just mean like, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't feel like I think this is the weakest story out of all of them.
Um, I have some issues with it because, like, the second body that's in the grave, why did he take Charlie's head and not take their head? I mean, if you're doing it to get a jack o' lantern, why would you kill somebody and bury
Maybe he
them, but
wasn't
not?
necessarily doing it to get a jack o' lantern. He never says he's doing it to get a jack o' lantern,
That's true.
and he only like his son isn't even home. And maybe he killed the first guy expecting to use his head, and then he killed the second one, and he's like, oh well, his head would work better.
But he didn't kill the first guy. He didn't take his head because
I
he's
know,
still
but
alive.
presumably he poisoned him or something to get him in the bag.
Oh, that's
So
true.
maybe he kidnapped the first. I'm assuming it's a kid.
Yeah.
Maybe he kidnapped the first one and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna use his head," and maybe it's because he upset him, like the second kid. What's the second kid's name?
Charlie.
Maybe it's because Charlie upset him. Maybe it's because Charlie is bigger. Like maybe he has more meat on him, so they have more to carve.
I don't know.
Um, I don't know.
I don't either. But I would probably agree with you that it's probably the weakest out of the stories.
Yeah, it's
So
it's also the only non supernatural one.
yeah, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's why it kind of feels not that it necessarily feels like completely out of place, but maybe that's why it feels kind of out of place and weaker than the others because the stakes are not.
Yes, but I feel like Wilkins is such a tie into the story between the neighbor and then
I
what
know,
happens later
but
on. I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
just there's
I think he's good for connecting the other stories. I still think this was the weakest story, and
I think it was partly set up for later on
yeah.
because he got what he
And
deserved.
I don't know what the writing process looked like for this movie, but I wonder if it was also the first one written.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I didn't think about that. Hmm.
So do we want to start talk about the next story?
Yes.
So the next story we want to talk about the kids.
Yes.
So it's the same kids that we saw come up to his door earlier and ask for a jack o' lantern.
There's Macy. There's Strader.
I didn't
I
catch
don't.
all their names.
I don't ever know if they say the little boy's name, the younger boy's name, but the girl who's dressed up like an alien is
Yeah.
Sarah.
So we can call the little boy pirate because he's dressed up as a
Yeah.
pirate.
Yeah.
So
And I would say they're probably what, middle school age, maybe 13,
yeah,
14.
I think the one we said is younger is probably younger than that
Yeah.
though, like 11, 12,
Yeah.
maybe even 10,
Yeah.
probably 11 or 12 though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say like 13, 14 older kids. Um,
Before you get into the story, though, let's set a little bit of the dynamic. So Macy is kind of the ringleader. Like,
yeah,
everybody kind of follows along with what she wants to do. Strader seems like he's like the popular guy.
yeah, but he almost doesn't fit in.
Right. He's actually kind of nice.
Yeah,
And then the girl that's dressed in, I think her name's Sarah. She just kind of seems like a follower.
yeah.
And the younger guy, to me, pirate guy, just seems like he wants to fit in. Like he
I
needs
don't
somewhere
know.
to fit in.
To me, it almost felt like he was one of the other one's siblings because he is a little
Oh,
bit younger. And
yeah.
they never say that. There's
Yeah.
nothing that really alludes to that, but that's just the vibe I got from
Right.
them. So we see the kids leave and go to another house, and uh, so obviously Wilkins, that's his name, right?
Yes.
Okay. I keep wanting to say Wilkinson.
Yeah,
Is that
just
from something
Wilkins.
else?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Which who was
um,
it we were talking about? We thought maybe Wilkins was named after.
Billy
Remember?
Wilkins.
I asked you that, but I don't remember who Billy Wilkins was.
Was it Billy Wilkins or Bobby Wilkins?
Maybe it was Bobby.
It might have been someone that worked on Jeepers Creepers.
Maybe that might be it. That sounds right.
Or it was someone. It was someone that was related to horror somehow. Like
Yeah.
they were a famous something.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out if they were paying homage to
Yeah.
him.
Um, but so the kids go. They went to his house, and he was the principal of the school. They go to another house that's their teacher's house. And do you think they're specifically going to people they know's houses on purpose to ask for the jack-o'-lanterns? Because that's kind of the vibe I got.
I don't really know. It seems like it's a smaller town, so I don't know
Yeah.
if they just kind of know everybody.
Yeah.
Because Strader's not with them at this point, and he said he's in
Yes.
a different part of town where somebody smashed all the jack-o'-lanterns. So I don't know.
I don't think he says the part of town he was in they smashed all the jack-o'-lanterns. I think they say that the part of town they're in someone smashed all
I
the
thought
jack-o'-lanterns.
Strader said it.
No, because they're the ones that went up to the principal's house.
Yeah, but Strader only got like one or two.
3.
Did he get that many?
Because he has the cart and he has 3 in there.
No. I still think he's the one that says that, but that's neither here nor there.
It doesn't matter. We saw Charlie going around smashing jack-o'-lanterns, so. But, so they got the principal's, and then they go to the teacher's house, and the teacher's, like, having a party, and I don't think they get one from her.
No, she's too drunk to really know what they're asking.
Yeah. And they see some inappropriate stuff in the background, and then they leave.
Which one thing we want to mention is there's one of the, I think it's the coach, is dressed up as a hot dog.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. And they say he's doing anal with a pig, but it doesn't actually show it.
No.
They just say that.
And they're in there, I mean, they're in costume, so it's
Yeah.
not like there's.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We see the costumes, but we don't actually see that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I don't know. To me, it almost looks like they're, like, kind of just dancing and grinding on each other.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the kid's just exaggerating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he is in a hot dog costume, so it would be easy to mistake what they were doing, you
Yeah.
know? But, yeah, it was kind of
Or-
a wild party for
Yeah.
the kids to see, so.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't think we see them go into. I don't think we see them go to any more houses. They just meet up with, what was his name?
Strader.
Yeah, they meet up with Strader. And once they meet up with Strader, they go to the girl's house,
Rhonda.
Rhonda. And Rhonda, again, I don't know how to put it. She doesn't seem all there. And
So this is, I'm gonna be really politically incorrect, and I'm quoting the movie, and I don't approve of this word, but they call her Rhonda the retard. That's
yeah.
what the other kids call her.
So I get the vibe that she has like autism or Asperger's or something like that.
That's kind of what I thought too.
Yeah. Um
She's very shy. She's
yeah.
very.
And what kind of gives me that vibe too is she doesn't really make eye contact when she's talking
Mm-hmm.
with them. She kind of always looks down, and she's very much, it seems like she's very much a rule follower because of some of the lines she has later.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I know you said that what's his name? I'm so bad
Straighter.
with names. It seems like you said Strader seems nice. I wonder if it's not just him being nice. I wonder if he kind of has a thing for her.
See, I kind of wondered that too when I was watching it because Macy seems kind of jealous
Yeah.
of the whole thing.
So I wonder if he kind of has a thing for her,
I don't know.
or I don't know if he's just being nice because
But she kind of looks like she might be younger than them too. Like more like the pirate boy's age.
I didn't think that, but I don't
I
know.
don't either. So when they get to Rhonda's house,
It's completely covered in jack-o'-lanterns.
yeah, and I don't remember who says it, but one of them says, "Why didn't we just come here first?"
Yeah.
Um,
And apparently she carved all of them herself.
yeah.
And again, I said like the autism thing. A big thing with autism is like hyperfixations. And it seems like she has a Halloween hyperfixation, especially based off what she says later.
Right.
But even just like carving that many jack o'
Right.
lanterns and stuff.
So basically, they use Strader to get her to go with them.
Yes.
Um, and so maybe Rhonda, they know that Rhonda likes Strader. See,
Yeah.
here's how I took it. Like, I think Rhonda has a crush on him, and
And
he knows that, and he's being kind to not.
well, in the first time I watched it, that's all I thought it was because of what happens later. Like when he first comes up and they leave him to talk to her to convince her to come, I thought that's how it was going to be. But because of something that happens later, I wonder.
We'll talk about it when we get there, then.
I know. And that's why I didn't want to say exactly what's happening now. So, where they end up going is they go to a quarry. Quarry? How do you say
Quarry.
that? Quarry?
So they take 8 jack-o'-lanterns with them.
Yes. And they, who has the key? Is it Macy?
Macy.
Macy? Macy has, like, the key to, like, the elevator? I don't know.
I guess. I don't really. Lift, I guess, would
Yeah.
be.
It's a,
But she tells the story before they go down the lift.
yeah. So she tells the story of, basically,
Before you get into that, and I don't mean to keep interrupting, but before you get into that, I wanted to point out that you were talking about Rhonda's fixation on
yes.
Halloween. So as they're walking to the quarry, well, first of all, we see Sam on the side of the road playing with a dead bird. They walk by. So he just kind of pops up in these random spots.
If you're gonna say werewolves, that's not yet.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But she talks about, because he says something
Yes.
about Halloween. Pirate Boy says something about
Yeah,
Halloween.
he says, so you like Halloween? And she
like,
says,
you mean Samhain? And
yeah.
she goes into this whole explanation about
AKA
Halloween.
All Hallows Eve. And then afterwards, there's like a beat of like awkward silence, and she just goes, I like your eye patch.
Right, yeah. So I never knew it was pronounced that way. Samhain.
Yeah. Which again brings me back to the thing where I think she has something.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I'm not trying to put anyone down because I have friends that are autistic and stuff. But it just seems like she kind of realized she made it uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but she wasn't intending to, so she like tried to shift the subject.
And that's like the word I use. I would never, ever, ever use that on anybody. That was from the movie. I would never say that about anybody in real life. I hate that word.
So they end up, Macy ends up telling the story, and there was a bus driver that drove like the special ed bus every day to school. And do they say a year?
I think they just say like 30 years ago.
Okay.
But they didn't go to the school in town. They went to a special school out of town.
Yeah. And they say the name of it, Redwood or something.
I don't remember what it was.
It's something Wood, and I think it starts with an R.
I don't remember.
Rockwood? I think it's Rockwood.
That sounds right.
But anyway, uh, as they're on the bus, they pass Sam, and
Hmm.
I think is he playing with a dead crow or
Maybe that's
something?
when he's playing with the dead crow and not
Yeah,
when they go to the quarry.
I think that's when he is. I don't know if we saw Sam when they were on their way to the quarry.
I think I'm thinking of this part.
Yeah,
So the kids on the bus, it's Halloween, and they're all in their Halloween
yeah, and they're
costumes.
like the old vintage ones.
Yeah.
Um,
Which the devil looking guy
yeah,
freaks me out. I don't know if it's just because he looks so tall
yeah,
and it doesn't seem natural that he would be, but like they did a good job on those
yeah.
costumes.
Um, so basically, the bus driver was paid off by the parents of the special ed kids to drive the bus off the quarry,
Hmm.
the query, however you
They were
say it,
tired of,
taking care of them.
yes.
Um,
Because back then, I mean, they were basically looked at as embarrassments.
yeah.
Like,
So I think is it the kid wearing the Dracula mask
uh huh, wrong
notices
way.
they're going the wrong way and starts just saying wrong way over and over. So the bus driver, they're like chained in their seats. Was that something they actually did back in the day?
I got the impression that he did that this time.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but because he checks all of them,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was something that
So he checks all the chains that they're in. Um,
they
and I
have cuffs on their
yes,
wrists that are chained to the seat
yes,
with, and it's got like a little padlock on it.
yeah. And he goes and checks them, and while he's checking them, he gives each of them a piece of candy.
And he's not nice about it though.
No. But the Dracula kid kind of realizes what's going on, so he runs up to the front and starts driving the bus.
Yeah, it's kind of awful because he gets those cuffs off and
Mhm.
he's got his wrists bleeding and he's just saying, "Go home. I want to go home.
Yeah.
Go home."
And one of the other kids trips the bus driver with the chains. And when the bus driver's trying to get back up front, and the Dracula kid drives the bus off the cliff.
Hmm.
Um,
Into the quarry.
yes.
Well,
Well,
there's water.
off the edge of the quarry
Right,
into
there's
the
water
water.
there
Yeah.
because it's an old closed quarry,
Mhm.
so it's full of water.
Um, and so she says that all the kids died and the bus driver survived, but no one ever heard from him again.
Right. And one thing about the bus driver we see while he's driving, we always see his class ring. He has his
Which
class ring
I did
on.
not pick up on. Um,
I did not. I don't know how many times I've watched this movie, but I didn't pick up on that until this time. So,
um, so anyway, back to the like present time when they're there.
can I throw out one little tidbit before you get into
Yeah,
present time? So, one thing I was reading, they pay homage to a lot of horror, like classic horror movies in this movie. And when they are driving down the street, there's a red Ford that the bus goes past that's the same kind of car that Christine is in Stephen King's Christine. Real pretty car. I just
yeah.
want to throw that out there. I thought that was kind of cool.
Um, so they the first three got on the elevator. So the only ones left are Pirate and
Rhonda.
Rhonda. And so I think they take three jack-o'-lanterns down with them and say, "You guys get the rest."
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Strayer's being nice to Rhonda.
yeah.
I think he compliments her pumpkin or something. And
I think he says, "Is this one of the ones you carved? Can I take this down?"
yeah, or something anyway. And I
Yeah.
think it makes Macy mad. So she's like, "Sorry, there's not room for all of us."
Yeah. Do you actually think there was?
I mean, I think there could have been because you're talking grown men rode in that
No, well, that's
thing.
what I was thinking. And also, if it's a rock quarry, I wonder if they brought rocks up at some point
Yeah,
in that.
I don't know if they would have done that, but I mean, you'd probably have 3, 4, 5 grown men in
Yeah.
there, so
But
5 kids and 8 pumpkins wouldn't have been much.
but so like we said, Macy has the key, and she says, "I'll send the key back up."
Which one thing that got me on that part, backing up a little bit, when they first get there, Strader turns the power on, and that kind of bugs me. Why would they have left the power on at the quarry?
I have no idea. Sometimes it's if sometimes it is cheaper just to turn off the power.
Yeah, but it just seems dangerous with kids in town for something like that to still have power.
I don't know.
There's my mom and me coming out
Well, we
again.
don't really see how they get in. Like we just cut to them being there.
That's true.
Like there could be a fence around it or something they cut a hole through to get there.
Oh, that's true.
And there's probably all kinds of signposts that like no trespassing and
Well,
stuff.
I mean, when the bus drives through it, it's just a chain. Or he drives through the gate.
I don't know, but I I feel like I've heard people say that like when places get abandoned like that, it's uh it's more expensive to completely take them off the grid. Like obviously you're not paying an electric bill, but it's more expensive to like completely disconnect the wires from the grid and everything. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
but like if we don't pay our electricity bill here, they shut it off at the company. So why
Yeah,
couldn't
but
the company just flip a switch and shut it off?
I don't know, and I don't know how old. Well, maybe they
Well,
did. Maybe
that's
they
true.
switched that lever, and we don't know how old it is. Like we don't know. I don't know
That's
how all
true.
that works.
That's
I'm not
true.
an electrician.
Well, neither am
Um,
I.
but anyway, so she goes down the elevator, sends the key back up. So the pirate and Rhonda go down next, and they bring the rest of the jack o' lanterns. Well, when they get down there, they don't see anyone. They
And
see
it's
the three
really
jack o'
dark and
lanterns, and I
foggy.
think they're screaming.
Yes.
And I think, can you see the bus at this point, or is it after she leaves it?
No, because it's foggy.
Okay. So Rhonda tells uh, the pirate kid, "You'll be safe. Just don't let the last jack o' lantern go out."
Right.
And she goes to investigate, see what's going on, and then these like three zombies come out
Well,
of
when
nowhere and start chasing
she
her.
gets to the
Or
edge
is
of
it just one
she gets
at
to the edge
first?
of the water,
Yeah.
and you can actually see the bus
Yes.
sticking up out of the water. And this is a big issue I have with this movie. Um, Dawson tried to explain to me how it could work, but
I said
they
it
they
depends on how deep this water gets.
they crash the bus nose first. The nose of the bus is smashed, but that's the part that's sticking
Yeah.
up out of the water.
I was looking it up because I didn't know how all that works, but from what I'm seeing, um, it's actually more plausible than people would think because buoyancy, like the air being inside the bus being different than the water on the outside and stuff like that, um, and especially with bodies being in there, that can mess with the buoyancy of it. But I don't know enough about it to really say whether or not that's real, and it also depends on how high the water actually gets
Yeah.
because if the water doesn't get high enough to completely submerge the bus, there's no way that happened.
Well, and in the flashback where she tells the story, it does go completely under. But
Does it?
again, that was a flashback she was
Yeah.
telling. But yeah,
Yeah.
um, but Rhonda gets to the edge of the water. There's the bus. Macy was dressed as an angel, so her wings are in the water. Her mask is there. It looks like it's got blood on it. And then Strader's mask is in the water too.
So then a waterlogged zombie comes after her basically, and she runs away, and then she sees the pirate kid on the ground, and his entrails are being eaten by another one, and then three of them end up chasing her,
Mm-hmm.
and her glasses fall off, and then she trips and smacks her head, and it's like she blacks out for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And when she comes to, the three zombies are standing over here along with the pirate, and it was all just a prank.
Mm-hmm.
They take off their masks, and it's the three kids from before, and she is like almost like disassociated.
Yeah. She's really upset at first because Strader
Yeah.
calms her down.
She's not really talking. She's not really talking to them and
Right.
stuff. But Strider goes over there and calms her down. And then Macy wants to stay, but Strider's like, I think we've put her through enough.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I wonder if he does have a crush on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he realizes, like, oh, she's, like, this isn't good. And he wants to get her out of there.
I still just think he was being a nice guy.
I don't know.
But um he tells everybody else to go clean up.
Yeah.
Like go get the stuff.
Yeah.
And so they walk over back where the bus is at, and Pirate Kid says, "Hey, look, that jack o' lantern's still lit," and Macy kicks it into the water.
Yeah. And so the other jack o' lanterns that were still in the elevator are presumably still in the elevator, right? Like, are all the rest still in there?
Yeah, I believe so. I know at least one is because
I
she's
know.
holding one, but I would assume the rest would be in
Okay.
there, unless Pirate Kid took him out when he got out.
I don't know why it would, though.
I don't either.
So, anyway, after that happens, I think they start hearing noises.
They do. They start hearing voices.
Are they saying wrong way? Is it that kid saying wrong way?
I didn't catch what they were saying, but I know it's
Okay.
the kids' voices.
Yeah. So, anyway, real zombie waterlogged kids come out of the water. And Rhonda runs back to the elevator first and gets in and closes the door and locks it, and drops the key on the ground. And she has a lit jack-o'-lantern in the elevator.
She thinks it's another prank. She thinks that
Wow.
they're still pranking her.
I don't know. It never says that.
Well, I mean, they're begging her, like, this isn't a prank.
I know. But that doesn't mean she knows that she doesn't know it's not a prank.
Oh, well, that's how I took it.
I
I
took it
like to
at.
think everybody's sweet and innocent and not being mean to each other.
I don't think she's being mean. They pranked her and almost got her killed.
I know.
And who's to say if she let them in, one of the zombie kids wouldn't get to them?
Yeah.
So anyway, um, she she drops the key and then she's like reaching for it and she brings it over like she's gonna open the door and then she presses a button to go up and she leaves the kids down there.
And I told Aaron last night when we were watching it that I was like, man, if I was one of those kids, I would have just hung out of the bars on the outside.
Yeah.
Like, I would have just. It wasn't. Excuse me. It wasn't that far. Oh, excuse me. It wasn't that far to go up.
Yeah, but do you really think you have enough upper body strength to do that?
Well, but there were bars at the bottom. You could have stuck your feet through on the platform.
I don't know. I have big feet, so.
I would have tried. Better than getting eaten by a zombie.
Um. So anyway, yeah. So she goes up, and then we see her pulling the wagon that had the pumpkins in it earlier, and I think there's just one left in it, and it's still lit. And she walks by Sam,
Yep.
who's at the quarry.
Yep.
I don't know why that's such a hard word for me. And I
And
think that's about the
she
end of
can
that
hear
story.
the other kids screaming in the
Yeah.
background.
See, and that's I think she knew it wasn't a prank. I think
she was so traumatized that I'm not sure she
I think they got their
processing what was
comeuppance. I think
happening.
she was letting them get their comeuppance.
probably. So now are we to the women?
No, because I want to talk about one more thing that I forgot to mention. After the first three go down the elevator, they hear a noise. Pirate and her do, and she goes, "Werewolves."
Oh, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She does. They hear an ow.
Mm-hmm. And she goes, "Werewolves."
Yeah. So are we ready for the next
Mhm.
story? So, and it's our girls, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the next story starts out with four young women in dressing rooms at a costume shop.
Yeah.
And they're trying on costumes, and one of them comes out as Cinderella. There's
Well,
Snow White.
I also don't you want to mention the thing?
I will.
Okay.
There's Cinderella, Snow White, Little Bo Peep, and then the fourth girl doesn't want to come out.
Yeah.
But one thing, what Dawson was just talking about was, so the kid that played Sam, his last name's Quinn. Now I don't remember his first name. So when they're in the dressing rooms, they're trying on their outfits. They're talking about how things aren't fitting right and it's too small and all this. And there's a little boy peeking in the gaps in the dressing room doors.
Well, and they're also talking about like where they were last year and stuff.
Yeah, and the little boy that's peeking through the cracks in the door is the kid that plays Sam.
Yeah.
So.
And then a lady grabs a little kid and says, "Hey, there's because the girls are talking kind of dirty.
Yeah.
Is like, hey, there's kids out here."
So then the fourth girl does not want to come out, and she is Lori.
Yes.
And she comes out dressed as Little Red Riding Hood.
And I don't know the actress's name, but it's the same actress that plays Rogue.
Yes. And she's
in the
actually,
X-Men franchise.
This is another homage to old-timey horror. She's named Laurie after Laurie Strode in Halloween.
I didn't know that. Well, I mean, I knew that was her name. I didn't know that's why she was named that.
So they go up front. They pay for their costumes. Cinderella invites the guy working to come to a party with them. And so there's these conversations going on between Little Red Riding Hood, and the other girls about how it's her first time and she's nervous and she doesn't know how to pick up a guy. And
losing her virginity. They basically say virginity is written on your forehead.
Yeah.
Or virgin.
Yeah. So the other two girls go over and meet a couple guys that are with the news station that's reporting on the Halloween celebration and get their dates. And so the other three girls leave Lori in town to find her own date. And she's just not having very good luck. Like, she sees a guy dressed as a horse and she starts to go talk to him. Well, then the back end of the horse stands up and it's a woman. And I don't remember what some of the other ones are.
There's someone that's turned around that's dressed like a barbarian and she thinks it's a guy at first and then it turns around and it's just like a muscular woman.
Yeah. I wonder though, do you really think she cared if it was a man or a woman?
Yeah.
But they talk about how somebody's last year was a woman.
but I feel like we only see Min later.
That's true. That's true. So anyway, she's just not having very good luck, and so I am gonna jump a little bit to a different story that kind of that ties into this one, but we also see a guy
Dressed
in
as a vampire. It's almost it's almost like if the Phantom had a full mask. Is kind of the outfit vibe
yeah,
I get.
yeah, but he has vampire teeth.
Yeah.
And we jump to him and a woman in
Yeah.
an alley, and they're
So
making out.
he's got a black cloak, and he's got a black. It's I want to when I say half mask, I mean like his mouth is uncovered.
Right.
He's got like a half mask, but it is very like masquerade type mask.
Right. And it goes. I mean, his mouth is uncovered, but it goes all the way down to his chin, around his mouth.
Yes. Almost like kind of a Batman type thing.
Right.
Um, and you can go from there. I just wanted to
So
describe the guy.
him and this girl are making out in the alley, and he bites her. He
Hmm.
bites her on both sides of her neck. I think he bites her leg because there's blood dripping down into her shoe. Um, so she freaks out and runs out, but everybody just thinks she's in a Halloween costume.
And one of the people she bumps into, who is just like, oh, she's drunk, is the robot woman from the beginning of the movie.
Yes. Um, so
Like I said, the beginning of the movie takes place at the end of the night, so
right.
this is earlier in the night.
So
Oh, and I do want to mention, I think, was it at the beginning of the movie, or is it here where there's the news broadcast?
it's at the beginning.
Okay. I think it's here in the comic, which is why I was kind of confused.
Well, it's at the beginning.
Yeah.
Then Mr. Krieg is watching it. Krieger's
That's what I was
going
gonna
to
say.
But then the news crew, the two
I
girls
know
pick up.
I know all that. In the comic, at this point is when the newscast happens.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the movie, there was a newscast where the news lady was talking about the party that's going on, and it was in this area that they're at now.
Right. They're downtown in this town. So he actually kills the girl and then sets her up against a building and closes her eyes like
Yeah.
she's asleep. And
Next to
nobody,
like three other drunk people that are
yeah,
on
and
the
nobody
ground.
realizes she's dead because they think the blood's fake.
Yeah.
So we go through all of this with Lori trying to find a date. She can't find anybody. Her
Which
sister calls her.
that them just thinking the blood is fake and everything brings to mind when Wilkins answers the door, he has blood on his shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know if you thought about that, but
Yeah.
it's kind of a nice parallel. Anyway.
Um, Wilkins, after he carries Charlie in the house, is what Dawson's talking about.
Yes.
And the three kids knock on the door to trick or treat.
They tell him nice costume.
Yeah. But I think the pirate knows something's going on because if you notice the way he's looking at the stairs and stuff, he's not quite convinced it's a costume,
Yeah.
I don't think.
And but Wilkins is also holding a knife.
Yeah, that's true. That would be scary. So the reason I want to mention him now is because Lori is not having any luck finding anybody to take to this party, and her sister, she sits down on this bench and you can tell she's just kind of depressed, and her sister calls her and says, I've got somebody here for you. Says he's really nice, and it's kind of an overweight guy dressed as a baby.
Yeah.
And Lori's like, no, I'm not giving up. Well, then she sees our vampire, and then she decides she's just going to go to the party. She doesn't talk to him or anything. She's just going to go to the party with her sister, and it's out in the woods. And so, did you notice that the path is lit with jack-o'-lanterns at this part?
No, I did not.
I thought about that last night. So of course she's walking down dressed as Little Red Riding Hood, and she hears somebody behind her. And you want to talk? I feel like I'm doing a lot of the yakking.
I said most of the last story, so I was letting you do this one.
So
I'll interject if I have anything.
okay. So she's like, I'm not in the mood. You might as well just come out. Well, it ends up being our vampire guy, and he looks at her and he's like, my, what big eyes you have. And then he bites her.
And then we cut away to the party.
To the bonfire that
Yeah.
the girls are at. And we see, so red, of course, she's got her red cape on. Well, we see a body fall out of a tree wrapped in that red cape.
Yeah.
And
At the bonfire.
at the bonfire. And so the girls go running over because they think it's Lori. And when they unwrap the cape, it's our vampire.
Do you think they really think it's Lori?
I think Cinderella does, because she says her name, and I think that she didn't have a lot of faith in her being able to
Mm.
do anything, because she even says at one point mom's always said she was the weakest.
Yeah.
Um, but so they unwrap the cape, and it's our vampire guy,
Yeah.
and I think it's Bo Peep goes over and is talking to him and takes his fake teeth out.
Yeah.
Um,
So he's not actually a vampire. He just had fake teeth in.
yeah,
And
and
she takes his
so
mask off
yeah,
and asks his name,
yes,
and it's Stephen Wilkins.
yes.
It's the principal from
So
earlier in the movie.
Stephen Wilkins gets what's coming to him.
So that's why I brought up the parallel about the blood earlier.
Yeah. Um, but he can't really move, and we see that his leg is broken.
Yeah, like the bone is sticking out.
Yeah.
Like it's broken and sticking out.
Yeah. So Lori comes over and she's like, "Be gentle, it's my first time." And then she says, my, what big eyes you have." And then all the girls turn into werewolves.
Not just turn into werewolves, it's one of the coolest werewolf transformation sequences I've ever seen. It's not just like, oh, their skin turns. It's like they peel their skin off like a suit. Like, it reminds me of the Skinwalker from... Is it Skinwalker in Supernatural that does that, or is it... Because there's a couple, like, shape-changing creatures in Supernatural.
It's the one that leaves the piles. I think it's, a shapeshifter.
Yeah, shapeshifter. It's kind of like that. And it's cool because it's almost like they have zippers on their, like, one of them, like, unzips their spine kind of, except there's no zipper there, but they just, like, put their nail through the skin and just peel it off, and then there's fur underneath.
And there's one, I think it's the girl that's dressed as a cheerleader, she puts her boot up on a log and just, like, pulls her whole leg skin off.
Yeah.
It is a really cool scene. Now, there is a little bit of nudity in there.
It just shows boobs, though. It doesn't show...
Frontal nudity for women. Yeah. Upper frontal nudity. But, so yeah, she kills Wilkins.
Mm-hmm. We see her teeth turn into fangs and she bites his neck.
Yeah.
I think it's his neck.
But even their face transformation, like her face, she doesn't... We don't see
her peel her skin off.
Right, she doesn't
So
fully
I wonder if that's something
transform.
that comes with time.
I wonder too. I thought that last night.
Yeah.
But the way her face changes when she goes to bite him is really cool.
But we see a bunch of other dead bodies at this part too, including the hot dog that was at the party earlier.
Yes. Yes. And I was trying to look last night to see if the elf from the costume store that Cinderella invited was out there, and he's there because he's talking to her, but I never saw his body.
I was gonna say I didn't.
But they show the bodies of the news crew guys.
Yeah. Did you mention that they invited the news crew?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's about it for that story.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam comes and sits down and is watching.
Oh,
Did we say that?
Yeah, he does.
So I think this is where he was right before he went to the quarry. I think Quarry. I think he went to the quarry right after this because she hears the werewolf. Yeah.
I bet you're right.
Did you catch that though? The fact she said I hear werewolves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it seems like she's very in the know.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we talk about the comic because I have some theories. So, our final story, right?
Yep.
Our final real story. We kind of have a little bit at the end that's its own thing.
Yeah.
So, do we just cut to him in the house? Or do we cut to the kids knocking on his door?
It's the clowns walking down the hallway. And they are actually the same clowns that see our first girl get killed.
Okay. That makes sense because it's right across the street from his house, right?
Yeah. And when the boys get there, it's 3 boys dressed as clowns. His house is dark. There's no jack-o'-lanterns outside.
Yeah.
It's just... And so they knock on the door.
Yeah.
And they kind of act like they know that he's a grumpy old man.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like
scared.
a challenge thing to go knock on his door.
You know what it reminded me of? You know in the live-action Grinch, I know you're not a big fan of that movie, but you know in the live-action Grinch when they dare each other to go up to his cave?
Yeah.
It reminded me of that, especially with what happens next.
Yeah.
So what happens next in this is...
Is his dog's name Spike? I think it's Spike.
I think it's Spite.
I thought
with
it was
a T.
Spike. I thought it was Spike.
I think it's Spite with a T.
Maybe it is.
They see yellow eyes once the door opens. And we quickly see after that it's his dog, but they don't see that. They just see...
He's like a little... he's a little dog.
Yeah.
My mind goes to Rimshot from Ernest.
Yeah, his name, at least in the comic, his name is Spite.
Okay. Spike.
Which makes sense because he's a spiteful old man.
Right. But
Um,
he reminds me of Rimshot in
yeah.
the Ernest movies.
Um, so anyway, they just see yellow eyes come out, and also they hear breathing that's like very heavy,
That part was probably one of the most annoying parts of this movie.
but it's
I
just the way he breathes.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't say annoying, but it's just
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's
I
almost
don't know if we mentioned this, but we're at Mr. Krieger's house, who is Wilkins's neighbor.
yeah. And something else we discover later, but we see him like after this, we see him like burning some photos and stuff, and he picks up the candy bag that one of the kids dropped. I don't think the other.
He actually takes all three of them.
I was gonna
Because he
say.
puts two of them on top of his boots and he takes one with him.
Okay. So he goes like into his living room where there's a fire, and he starts throwing pictures into it, but we don't see what's on the pictures yet. But he starts throwing them into the fire, and
if you
then
look closely and you know what you're looking for, you can see what the last one he throws in there is.
well, we're not supposed to know what is on there
Right.
yet. And then he hears something hit his window, and it's an egg. Someone threw an egg at him. Do you? Okay, I won't say that now.
Yes, I do.
What?
I do agree.
About what?
Who did it?
Well, because it's blatant in the comics, but I don't think they show a shadow or anything in the movie.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's all I was
You
gonna
hear the
ask.
giggle.
I don't remember hearing it, but I was probably just distracted by the loud breathing. So anyway, what's his name? Krieger. I'll remember some names.
So I don't want to interrupt. I keep interrupting
Yeah.
you, but so one of the things that I think is so cool about this movie, and I know you're going to get to it, but this is happening at the same time the things at the Wilkins house are happening.
Yes.
Which is happening at the same time all of these other, like most of these other things are
Yeah.
happening. Because he's actually, when he sits down in his chair, he's flipping through channels and he's on the live news report
Yes.
of the parade or
Yeah.
the party downtown.
But we see. So, I imagine though, this is really this and Wilkins are like the first story. Like these take place at the same time, then Werewolf, then the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the.
And
I mean,
then
the
our
kids.
first
The kids
story-
kind of take place at the same time as the werewolves.
Right. But our first story is actually our last story.
Yeah. So anyway, so he's in his house and his back door just has a flap, like a doggy door. And his dog goes outside and is barking, so he goes out there and it's him barking at the neighbor like we saw earlier. It's Wilkins outside in his backyard burying the body.
Which we didn't mention this during that story, but he tells Krieger that he's got a sewer
issue.
and Krieger says fix it because it smells like dead people out here.
Yeah, that's not exactly what he says,
No,
but yeah.
I'm gonna keep it clean.
So anyway, he ends up getting his dog, and he's kind of crass, like even to his dog.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets his dog back in the house, and he tells Wilkins, he says, "Keep your kid out of my yard."
Which was totally random.
Kind of, but he probably heard the kid yelling,
Well,
and then an
maybe.
egg hit his house.
Well, maybe. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. You're probably right.
So anyway, he goes back inside, and
I don't want to interrupt. I keep doing that, but so one thing I was thinking about when we were watching this, and I've thought about the last couple times I've watched it. So you've got Wilkins on one side of the fence, and you've got Krieger on the other side of the fence, and just the filming of those two, and how they had to have
Yeah.
cameras everywhere, and have them doing this at the same time.
And I think,
Because the words are the same,
Mhm.
that like everything's the same. So
and
they
during
had
this
to
scene,
leave-
we get the exact same lines, but we pull back, and I think we see from Sam's point of view for a little bit, don't we? Don't we see him like in front of the house, like watching?
Do we? I
Yes,
don't remember that.
because they're talking at the fence, and it kind of zooms back, and we're like in the front yard,
Oh yeah,
like spying on him.
yeah. Is all the pumpkins there then?
No.
Okay.
So I wonder if this is when that's happening.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
So
But I just think the filming of
yeah.
that, like that took so much planning to get that all the angles and to have, the camera set up where you could do.
So he goes back inside. Is this when he sees the gate moving outside, or was that whenever the egg hit the window?
That was when the egg hit the window.
Okay. Does someone knock then? I don't remember what
Yes.
gets. Okay, so
Yes.
someone knocks on the front door. He opens it.
No. His dog starts growling at the front door. Spite starts growling at the front door.
Okay. Whatever happens, he goes and opens the front door, and his whole yard is full of the jack o' lanterns.
And they're the ones that Rhonda carved.
Yes. And the first time I watched this movie because of that, I thought Rhonda came out of this house.
So did I.
I thought Rhonda came out of this house after the pumpkins were here. And so I thought it was like she was like in league with Sam or something. But I don't think I think they just got moved here.
See, I thought the first time I watched it, I thought like he was her grandpa or something, and
Well,
she
and I
lived with her
that
grandpa.
crossed my mind too, but
But what I saw is that Sam used magic,
yeah.
kind of his powers, to move those there
Yeah.
because Krieger didn't have any Halloween spirit.
Yeah. I don't even necessarily know if he needed like real powers, but we see him move pretty fast.
Yeah.
And he was in his backyard for a bit.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
And we don't really know relationship, like how their houses, how close and how far away they are.
Yeah. I'm assuming they're near each other because we see her with her wagon at the end.
Yeah.
Walk by his
true.
house.
That's true.
And they can't be too far because the kids walk there after they go to his house.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so yeah, so he goes and sees the jack-o'-lanterns out front. And then is this when his dog runs upstairs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he goes back in, his dog runs upstairs, and he hears his dog yelp from upstairs. And I think that's the last we see of the dog.
Mm-hmm.
But he runs upstairs to see on his dog because he sees like a shadow. It looks like a little kid running across the top of the stairs. He goes up there.
And he can hear the footprints of somebody upstairs.
Yeah. He goes up there and he sees something moving under the sheets in his bedroom. And he pulls it up and there's like a wind-up hand like thumping on the bed.
Yeah.
So he like pulls the sheet or the bed covers up and he's looking at it. And then fire flares up in the corner of the room, and there's a jack-o'-lantern in the corner of the room that fire flared up out of the top of, and written what looks like in blood all over the wall and like up to the ceiling is trick or treat, give me something good to eat, over and over and over.
So do you think that was Spite's blood?
I didn't think about it.
That's kind of that's kind of where my mind went with it.
I didn't really think about it. I wasn't sure.
That's where I went because we don't see him again.
I didn't know.
Anyway.
So I think at this point he runs back downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
No, his ankle gets slashed.
Right. He's standing by the bed and his ankle gets slashed. It looks like a box cutter, I think.
It's a candy bar.
Oh, that
a box cutter blade is sticking
that's
out
right.
of. So he like half limps down the stairs. To get his shotgun because it's above the fireplace. He mentioned it earlier. And I think Sam is just following him, isn't he?
Sam's crawling all over the room like he's on the ceiling,
Okay,
and
that's
this is
what's
the
going
part
on.
where he's
Yeah.
like Spider-Man.
Yeah. Is it Exorcist that's in? Where they crawl on the ceiling, or is that something else?
Exorcist is the one where she walks down the stairs backward, like in a back bend.
What am I thinking of where they're on the ceiling?
What is that? I can't remember. I can see it.
I know there's a parody of it in the SpongeBob Earworm episode.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is.
Anyway, he's walking on the ceiling, and he goes... Sam is walking on the ceiling, or like crawling on the ceiling, and Krieger goes downstairs, and he goes to get a shotgun. And I don't remember... They end up fighting. He ends up ripping Sam's mask off. I don't remember exactly how the fight goes, like beat for beat. But he ends up ripping Sam's mask off and then shoots him in the face. It doesn't really seem like it does much. And Sam's face is like... it's like a mixture between a skeleton and a pumpkin. I hate it. I think they should have just left the mask on.
I go with more of an alien pumpkin.
I heard from what I have seen people say, it's supposed to be a mixture of a skull and a pumpkin.
Yes, I can see that.
But anyway, he shoots him in the face and then shoots him in the chest a few more times too to be safe.
Well, twice. He's only got 2 bullets in that shotgun.
Okay.
It's double barrel.
And all we see fly out is pumpkin guts, which I think is a really cool touch.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, Sam is so much scarier with the mask on because you don't know what's underneath. It could be anything.
When did we skipped a part, I think. When does he call 911?
It's right here. He shoots him, he goes to call 911.
And then the phone goes dead.
Yeah. And then we see Sam's hand.
Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
With the knife in it, right?
No, it's just his hand creeping.
No, it does have the knife in it. Because it tries to cut him.
Does it?
Mm-hmm. I promise you, because I'm assuming he used it to cut the phone line.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
But
it's just his hand in this like burlap costume with pumpkin guts streaming out the back of it.
It reminds me of Thing, and not just because it's a severed hand, but specifically in the way it moves and everything. It reminds me of Thing because I can't remember. Oh, it's in Evil Dead when Ash gets his hand cut off and it's acting separately. That was played by the same actor that did Thing, like that played the hand Thing, but he did the movements differently to differentiate it from Thing. And this, like you could tell, and this just feels like it just feels like Thing.
Yeah. I think it's so funny though because his hand crawls over and taps on Sam's leg.
Yeah.
And then waves at him.
Yeah, and Sam like wakes up.
Yeah.
So then Sam puts his hand back on.
Yeah. And then he puts his mask back on.
Yeah.
So really, I think this is the only part we ever see him without his mask on, right?
Yeah. But it is ripped. The like mouth stitching is now ripped, so you can see his mouth.
At this part, but then later on, it's not.
I know. But what I was gonna say is, I'm fine with the mask ripping and showing his mouth because he bites the lollipop to start using as a weapon. Because I think Krieger gets a hold of the candy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the face reveal. Because before that, it could be anything.
See, and we talked about this before we started recording. I always assumed, by the way he looked, that he was something alien. And then reading the graphic novel... Freaking aliens.
Well, don't say that, because we'll talk about it in the graphic novel.
Right, but...
I'll talk about it more in the graphic novel.
Well, I was just going to say that it kind of points us in a different direction from what I thought.
Yeah.
But I can see where, like, it would be better just to leave him covered. Because he's such a cute little kid. He's got on, which I know you said, but, like, it's the orange pajamas with the booty flap that folds down. Like, he's just cute.
But, you know what it does make me think of?
What?
It does remind me of the Demon Kid in Tales of Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
It's got that same vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't think they look identical or similar enough to really be compared, but just, they kind of remind me of each other. Yeah. They've got that same vibe.
So, if you haven't seen this movie, Sam has a big orange jack-o'-lantern sucker.
Yeah.
And he bites it.
Yes.
And makes it jagged.
Yes. And we actually get kind of close to an origin story of it in the comics. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes.
But anyway, he goes to stab Wilkins. Because Wilkins is on the floor at this point. Krieger. I don't know why I'm getting them mixed up. He goes to stab Krieger because Krieger's like on the floor. And instead he stabs through a candy bar that Krieger had bitten into earlier that was from one of the kids' bags. And Sam just seems perfectly content with his candy bar and goes to leave the house.
It's stuck on the end of his sucker, and he takes a bite, and then and he looks just like a little kid walking out there with his candy.
So then I think this is when we cut to the picture in the fire, and we learn that Krieger was the bus driver.
Yes, and one thing I mentioned
one that was gonna drive the kids into the quarry.
Yes. And one thing, the reason I mentioned his class ring earlier is because in this whole scene, Krieger has that same class ring on.
And I did not notice it.
I didn't notice it until last night, and I watched this movie so many times. But we see a picture of him with all of the kids in their masks standing outside the school bus. And that's what he was burning in the fireplace. So then his doorbell rings, and he goes to the door, and it's trick-or-treaters.
And he hands out what looks like just like breath mints.
Which he has...
It's like hard candies and breath mints.
Yeah. He has, like his head is bandaged, he's got his arm in a sling, and he's got the candy in the sling, and I'm like, I'm not sure I want my kids eating candy out of somebody's sling,
but they tell him nice mummy costume.
Yeah.
But, the thing I'm wondering about, and maybe it's just because there was a time skip and he used up, why is he handing out breath mints and stuff if he has the candy that he took from the kids?
I don't know. Maybe Sam took all that candy with him. And we just
But we
can't
don't see
see it.
that. We just see him walk out the front door because the door magically opens
But
and
if
then
you
closes.
look at, because so the first trick or treaters that come to his house, it's three
Yeah.
girls and they're dressed up as the three little pigs. And the one that tells him good costume, if you look in her bucket, it's all like mint and hard candy.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a cheap thing instead of having chocolate.
Who? Him?
Like the movie itself.
Yeah, but we see other candy at different parts of the movie.
Well, that's true.
So I wonder if it's supposed to be like, oh, this is all he has, like his like old people
Yeah.
candy.
Well, and one
But
thing I did see was that
yeah,
the candy bars in there are made up companies because no candy
Yeah.
company wanted to be associated with poison candy.
but the first time I watched this movie, I was just thinking, like like oh, he's just doing that because he doesn't have any candy. But he takes the bags from the kids, so
Yeah.
presumably he would have actual candy.
Yeah.
But he had enough time to bandage himself up and stuff, so maybe in that time he gave out all the real candy
That's
he
true
had.
too. That's true.
Anyway, as he's standing at the front door, he sees Sam standing by a tree. We see Rhonda walk by with her jack-o'-lantern still lit in her wagon. We see the car with the four werewolf girls that we met earlier drive by.
They almost hit Rhonda.
Yeah. And then we see a robot and a space guy walking home across the street.
Yeah, and we see the conversation where she takes her
Yeah.
costume off.
And I think
blows out
Sam
the
kind of
cannon.
growls
Yeah.
and walks over there.
Yeah, and he's watching, like he's standing there watching her blow the candle
Yeah.
out, the jack-o'-lantern out. So let's
And
go.
then Krieger goes back in his house.
Right, but let's go back to timeline first, okay? So,
Do we want to talk about what happens at the very end, though?
well, hang on,
Okay.
because I want to try to figure this out. So, we know that werewolf and
Okay.
Aquarium
know that
happen at the same time, kind
know
of
that-
the same
Yeah.
time.
Okay, so we know that the opening scene is the very end of the timeline.
Right. So here's my question about it. The girls in the car when they about hit Rhonda at the end of the movie are back in their costumes and they look human again.
Yes.
So do they just feed and then go
I
back to
assume.
being human?
I assume that's the implication.
Like, I mean, there's no blood. There's
Yeah.
no. I mean, nothing. I did notice Lori looked a little bit different, but I can't remember now what was different about her in the car.
It is though. The whole theme of the movie is that Halloween is like when all the monsters come out.
Yeah.
So maybe they only like we saw them transforming in the moonlight. So maybe they transformed back.
Yeah.
And the way they talk when they're in the changing room earlier, where they're like, "Oh, last year we were here," it seems like they travel around.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't want to get caught. I mean.
Yeah.
So anyway, we know that the werewolf and the quarry are happening at the same time.
I also want to say this: we see Wilkins' son passing out candy wearing basically a
bloody
Wilkins
shirt,
costume.
yeah.
Is it his shirt or is it just supposed to be like a?
I think it's his shirt because
Okay.
it's bigger on him.
Okay.
And if you look at the blood
I know it's
splatter,
got the
it's
blood,
the
yeah.
same. Which is kind of sad for that kid that he's home by himself so much.
Well, it's also sad that his dad's a serial killer.
Well, I know that too, but okay, so werewolf and quarry happen at the same time.
Yes, and then Wilkins and Krieger happen at the same time.
So they had to have happened before
Yes.
because of him. So those happened. So Krieger and
I
William.
think so. In my opinion, I mean, this has to be how it was. If we try to like chart the route that Sam would have taken, he got candy from Krieger and then went to, or got candy from Wilkinson and then went to Krieger's house.
Wilkins.
He got candy from Wilkins and then went to
You
Krieger's
said
house.
Wilkinson. That's why I said that.
Oh, okay. He got candy from Wilkins and then went to Krieger's house. And then after he went to Krieger's house, he went to the werewolves. And then after he went to the werewolves, he went to the quarry. And then he came back to Krieger's house.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So go ahead and you can tell the ending.
So Krieger's in his house and he hears the doorbell ring again. And he opens the door and the water-soaked zombies from earlier in the movie are there.
The kids that he
Killed.
was going to kill in the quarry.
Yeah.
And the dragon, or the
I would still say killed.
yeah, the
Because he was planning on doing it, and the
Yeah.
Dracula just happened to be the one that pushed him over the edge. But
and the movie ends with Dracula saying trick or treat.
Yeah.
And that's how the movie ends. So I love this anthology. I think it's really well done.
I've heard a lot of people call it like the perfect Halloween party movie, like to put on, like have it in the
Yeah,
background so people can just sit down and watch it for a bit
yeah,
if they want to.
yeah. Because, I mean, it's like you said before, you could take any segment of the movie and
Yeah,
watch it as its own separate story.
yeah.
And something, I have a book that's called Tales of Mayhem, Mystery, and Mischief, Trick or Treat. And it's all about the making of the movie. And Michael, is it Doherty?
I don't know.
We're going to say Doherty is his last name. Talks about in there how he's always loved Halloween and it's always been his favorite holiday, but we don't have like that. We have Santa Claus for Christmas, we have the Easter Bunny for Easter, but we don't really have anything for Halloween. So he wants he wanted to create that for
Yeah.
people. So he's hoping that Sam will kind of be that symbol for
Well,
Halloween.
and at the beginning of the Trick or Treat book we're covering next week, there's a little excerpt that he wrote in 2019, and he talks about how this movie was a direct to DVD movie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a big budget blockbuster movie. It was direct to DVD, and now you can walk into a store and see like I went to that shop I like in Terre Haute the other day that I was just telling you was overpriced. I went in there and they had his lollipop for sale. Like it's and they had an action figure of him too. Like he's an icon now. And
Right.
at the time the movie came out, it was not, I don't know if it was lambasted, but it wasn't anything that people knew about. And now I'd say it's up there with like Freddy.
I mean, it's what do you say? It came out in 2007, and we
Yeah.
probably just started watching it 5 years ago.
Yeah, but it's like it's grown. It's got like a cult following
But
now.
that's
Like
what I'm saying.
people have
Like
figured
people
out
have
that it
talked about
exists.
it so
Yeah.
much that now new
Yeah.
people are finding the movie. Um,
I think yeah, he says over the past decade, Sam went from getting dumped direct to DVD to getting a still growing line of toys, decorations, costumes, and even mazes at Universal's Halloween Horror Night.
so one thing I want to talk about that as many times as I've watched this movie, I had no idea that the original idea for Sam came from a 3 minute short animated short. I know I said short, but a 3 minute short um, called Season's Greetings.
That Michael Dowdery, how do you say it?
I said Doherty, but I don't
Doherty.
know.
Okay, it's Dougherty. Let us know how to say that in the comments.
Right.
Okay, so
Michael D.
yeah, Michael wrote and animated it and hand drew it.
Yes, and it said, from what I read, it said it took 9 months for him to do this 3 minute short
Yeah.
because it's done with pencil, paper. I mean, he said he did have help doing this short, but he was in college and he just kept kind of doodling Sam all over his paperwork and everything he did, and Sam just kind of kept coming back around. So he made this 3 minute short thinking that that would get Sam out of his head, and it didn't work. But so in the short, we see Sam going trick or treating by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he goes and it's kind of sad because he goes and knocks on this one door, nobody answers. So then, for some reason, he goes down this alleyway, and we see a guy follow him, and then we just hear the sounds of somebody getting beat up.
And we see kind of a shadow,
Yeah,
and it looks like candy's flying.
yeah. But the shadow makes it look like Sam's getting beat up.
Yeah.
And but it ends with Sam walking out of the alley with the body of the person in his candy bag.
Yeah.
And so if you get a chance to watch it, it's really cute. Like I said, short, 3 minutes. It's a special feature on the DVD if you have the DVD. But I love this anthology. I
And
love all the stories.
let me interject and say something about that cartoon. I told my mom, for those of you familiar with internet horror and analog horror stuff, it reminds me of Local 58's, I think it's its first episode, cartoon for children. Anyway.
Um, I love this anthology. I think it is really, really well done. Um, the stories are also different, but for them to be able to intertwine them the way they do, I think it's awesome. And it's to me, it's one like we've talked a lot about how you've interpreted things different than I interpreted things, and so like, it's kind of one that makes you
Yeah,
think.
but it doesn't have to.
Right.
Like sat down and looked at it through an analytical lens, but you could sit down and watch this and just enjoy what's happening. Like you
Right.
don't have to sit down and observe every detail. You can
Right.
just sit down and watch the movie and
And like Dawson said, you can put it on for background noise at a
yeah,
party, and people can sit down for 15 minutes and watch one story and
yeah.
get it. Um,
And I've always been very partial to anthologies. I've always loved like short story, even like in books, like
mhm.
short story collections and stuff.
Yeah. So I love this movie. It's a must watch every Halloween for us. Tales of Halloween that we did last week is, I've forgotten how good it was, so it's going to be added up there too.
Yeah.
Um, I love Sam. I know you didn't like him without his mask on. It's not my
The
favorite.
comics make it better, but I wanted to wait and talk about that next
Well,
episode.
we will. But yeah, so that's Trick or Treat. Is there anything you had to add to this one?
I don't think so.
Lots of good actors in this. Oh, I did have one more thing I wanted to share. So, Mr. Krieger is, um, he looks like John Carpenter, and John Carpenter wrote The Thing. And Mr. Krieger, it's Craig. It's not an ER. It's Craig.
Oh,
K-R-E-G-G. We've been saying it wrong this whole time.
have
Um,
I been saying Krieger? I thought I was saying Krieg.
I think we've both been saying Krieger because
Oh,
that's what I was saying. But he looks like John Carpenter, and he says, "You've got to be kidding me," which was taken from John Carpenter's The Thing. And he has 8 locks on his front door, one for every child that he murdered.
hmm.
So those are my last little tidbits, I think.
Okay, so
Um,
join us next week when we talk about the comics. We are going to talk about both series, the one that's just an adaptation of the movie, and the Days of the Dead one. But we're not going to go into much detail story wise about the first series since it is just a redo of the movie. But we might talk about some of the differences, and I want to bring up some of the artists and colorists and things that were involved. So join us for that.